Hey everyone, how you doing today? Now, today is going to be a different type of talking points video, even though I've only made one. But in all seriousness, no, this is going to be a different type of talking points video, and this is going to be the interview edition of talking points. So how this is going to work is that it's going to be a talking points video, and I'm going to be interviewing someone who either has a keen interest in that field or is actually in that field and actively working in that field. This is going to be kind of interesting because it's something that I've wanted to do, I wanted to try out, and I hope you guys like it. So today I'm going to be interviewing Keleena, who's a friend of mine, and I'm going to give you a quick rundown of who he is and why you should care about watching this video. Keleenna Onyeaka is a Nigerian-British versatile artist who's currently telling stories through street and portraiture photography. Keleena believes that stories enables us to analyze, appreciate, and amend the complexly interdependent layers of life. His street-inspired documentary style has seen him take pictures for Notting Hill Carnival, Afro Nation, London's Fashion Week, and Africa's London Fashion Week. Keleena has also exhibited his street photography work through exhibitions focused on unlocking hidden stories within everyday life. Most recently, he was focusing on Port Harcourt and Lagos as part of his A Glimpse of a Continent project. While his portraiture work has seen him work for various brands and musicians, where his passion for depicting narratives is applied on more intricate projects exploring history, culture, and emotion. So because the interview is pretty long, I decided to split it into 4 parts, but I would advise you to watch all 4 because this is very, very informative for people who are into photography or are at least interested in photography. We talk about things like beginner cameras and what type of cameras you can use when you're starting off or you just don't have enough money. We talk about how to take pictures for Instagram and what are the benefits of taking certain types of pictures compared to the others. We talk about mirrorless versus DSLR, and also we talk a lot about photography in general, how you can tell stories through your pictures, and also there's information about what to expect when doing exhibitions and what his thoughts are on doing exhibitions versus doing pictures for himself or just for fun. I really enjoyed this interview and it was a lot of fun to do. For any of his links, or also if you want to see what he does and what his work is, I'll be posting all of them in the description below. That's enough from me talking. I'll take you to the video and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. So, hi everyone, I hope you're having a great day. So today I have my friend Keleena, who is a visual artist, and he takes a lot of like really cool pictures that I find really interesting. What I love about his work is that he shows Africa or even Nigerian or even Black culture in general in a completely different light compared to how I would have viewed it before looking at his pictures. So enough about me gushing about him. I'm going to go straight to the interview. We can talk about this in detail. I'm going to ask him questions mainly to do with photography and also his work. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give him a chance to tell his socials and where to look for his work, where to find him for more interesting and cool ideas and pictures. So without further ado, hi Keleena, how's everything?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm cool, man. I'm just chilling. It's it's Corona season, but we're trying to make this work, and I'm trying different things, and this is one of the things I wanted to do. Interviewing creative people is kind of interesting, so.
Yeah, hashtag new normal.
Hashtag new normal, indeed. I mean, if Tory Lanez can do it, so can we. So
exactly.
We might as well do that. All right, yeah. So I'm going to go on my first question for you. And since this topic is on photography, I want to know how you got into photography.
Okay. So it's funny, like, I think for me, really and truly, if I really go deep and think about when I first kind of appreciated visual language, it goes way back to when I was young. You know, I used to always remember I'd always loved, I'd have to sit by the window, no matter what, I have to sit by the window because I love to just look outside and just watch what's going on. And like, you know, you see the chaos of it when you just look at it at first glance. But if you really take time, you can actually pause and see individual stories within all those layers of the chaos that's going on in life. So I think for me, that's the earliest memory I have of kind of really appreciating, slowing things down and pausing it to see what's going on. So fast forward a few years to like 2017. This is when I got I think it was the iPhone 7. Yeah, the first time I actually got a proper camera on my phone. So I was like, okay, let's go. And then I came to Nigeria to do an internship. I was in Nigeria for like 2, 3 months, and with this new phone, this new camera, and I just found myself just, randomly taking pictures of people and cars and different things. And it wasn't clear to me at the time, but I really just appreciated, pausing things and seeing what was really going on within those layers. Like I said, like I think Nigeria and African cities, a lot of cities in general, like when you look at them at first glance, it's just chaos. It's just millions of people running in and out. But when I got the iPhone 7, I just found myself trying to pause things. And I think it was also for like a visual diary for myself, because I knew I was going to go back to London. So I kind of wanted to really appreciate Lagos for what the fabric of Lagos, and taking pictures of those things. It was kind of just random. It was so random, but I just enjoyed it. And that's when I think I started it with Instagram. Started putting like random iPhone pictures on there. And then again, so that's another milestone. I think when it really hit that, okay, I want to be a photographer, was 2018. After dabbling around with iPhone pictures, I came across a YouTube video about, photography, the physics and of light and all this thing. And me, like I'm studious. I'm quite nerdy as well. And I didn't understand my appreciation for art, but there was clearly that love and interest in art and storytelling. And when I found out that like there was a scientific part of photography and a technical side, I was sold. Like I started studying light, like looking at how exposure works, looking at how, cameras actually work, how they're built, going all the way back to the first camera. And so from there, I was like intellectually very curious in photography as a tool and a medium. And I was learning a lot. And then I think it was in August 2018. I finally saved up enough money to buy my first DSLR. And yeah, I bought it, and it was history from there. I just couldn't put it down. I was just taking so many things and learning as I went. So that's kind of like, it wasn't like this moment. I kind of can trace it back to little steps I took in my visual journey. I think initially, yeah, like I said, it was just taking in all that information. Then Nigeria was when I kind of realized, oh, if you have the right equipment, you can do something. And then when I started going onto YouTube, I was like, oh, wow, there's this whole technical side of it that, satisfies my intellectual and, let's say, problem-solving curiosity, as well as this art and this beautiful medium that I'd already kind of dabbled in when I was younger.
Yeah, so, yeah. I love that answer. One thing that really struck me from what you said was the fact that you're looking at the world and you're taking shots already. So would you have said that back then you must have had a photographic mind and a mindset from when you were younger already because of the way you viewed the world? And also, here's a funny one. Would you say that when you were having that shutter speed, I'll say, mindset, would you say that you also looked at the world and looked at the lighting and how things were lit and how something would look better in a different type of environment?
Yes, I think that more of the lighting and the coloring and, let's say, the aesthetics of a photograph came to me a little later. But I think initially, like I was saying, when I would just visualize and look at things, the first thing was just pausing and seeing. Like, it's weird. I almost see life and visual information as it's layered, almost like Photoshop. You can layer things in Photoshop. That's really what visual information is. When you see things, it's all just layered. So I think from there, the first kind of appreciation I had for constructing and framing an image came on composition, i.e., how do you layer things and place things into an image that might highlight the story. And the main thing I really picked up first was, if you isolate everything else out of an image, then the audience is faced with whatever the subject is and whoever, you're trying to use to tell this story. So that was something that I kind of picked up on early, and even before I kind of bought a camera, I kind of appreciated that when you look at people from different perspectives, you get a different story. But it's when I started studying light, I actually bought a textbook about light, like an A-level physics textbook about light, and then I watched a few lectures online as well. And that's when I really that's when I was gone. Like that's when I was like, I was looking at things, I was seeing how shadows cast on one side of the face and light on the other, and how they interplay to kind of highlight and contrast and things like that. And now, for example, I still do this a lot actually. I just go for walks, and I intentionally won't take my camera, but I'm just looking and really looking at the details and the fabrics, and trying to understand my eye first as well. I think I do that, and I still try and train myself, go out, look, and be quite visual. But now, because I have this new knowledge and understanding of light, I can look at it and kind of even understand how, when you see something, it is because of how the light is working within the scene, like especially with the sun and clouds and shadows and things like that. So I think, yeah, that kind of the more technical light side of things is coming in now, whereas before, from early, it was always a case of like layering people and fitting them into a frame that kind of just isolated them so that you could focus on them. And then you notice, like, wow, in all this chaos, there's people that are doing weird, crazy things, like roller skating in the middle of Lagos traffic.
Like that even comes back. Actually, I wrote it down here. So I was looking at one of your work, PH Hustle, and the kids on the beach really struck out to me, because in Nigeria, when I go to Nigeria, that
wasn't actually on the beach,
Oh, really?
Yeah, you talk about the one with the kids on top of sand and stuff.
Yeah.
So because of course you were there for the wedding. So that was the church next door to the hotel where Data's wedding was.
Oh, not in PH. Is it in was it in P? Oh no, I wasn't there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, you weren't there. Yeah. But it was in PH, and basically that church was right next to the hotel, and I could see it from my balcony. And the sand that you're seeing is not actually beach sand; it's just sand that was in the church courtyard. And that's the thing. That's the power about visual information, is that for me, I was just focusing on the kids and the sand, nothing else. So now you're kind of, the whole environment and context of where they are is left for the audience to make their mind up. So it's quite interesting that you said it's a beach, because that was intentional. It's not a piece of work about church per se. It's about isolating the kids and just showing their joy, and as they're running around. So that was fun. And I remember after I went down to the church and showed them the pictures and stuff, and even them too, they were like, "Oh, where's this?" I was like, "I was just here." It's the sand in the car park. But yeah, sorry, I interrupted you. But
no. I'm excited. That was a great response, because one thing that's cool about pictures, I've noticed, and photographers, is they know how to bring the best out of things. Like you've been explaining, like you're a visual artist. That's what you do. And it's so cool that I didn't even know that was a beach. And I thought instantly, oh, these are kids playing on the beach having fun. I don't know if those kids are just running about or something. And your picture managed to just illustrate something completely different from what the actual context is, and I really respect that. So that even brings me to my next question. So what would you say is your inspiration for your best work, or even work in general?
Yeah, so I think for me, really, it's about storytelling. And I think if we look at it outside of photography, just in general, I've always been a chatty person. When 2 or 3 or 4 people are gathered, I like playing the role of telling the jokes and telling the stories. I think for me, really, I've understood that it's more within it's more about my characteristics that love storytelling. And I think storytelling for me is there's 3 elements. There's the engaging and the entertaining part, there's the informative part, and then there's the thought-provoking or provoking thought element of it. And I think that's my inspiration for my best work, is when I can kind of think of this project or this body of work on those 3 levels. Okay, how is it going to engage people? How am I going to bring people here visually, with the narrative, with the stories I'm trying to tell? How am I going to get them interested? And, you know, that's kind of the art and working out how you compose things and color grade things to make it attractive to begin with. And then it's the information, like the informing part. So what am I trying to tell people? You know, in my street photography stuff, it's kind of like showing you what really happens within that chaos when you actually pause and look. Like there's a lot of stories and narratives that are kind of within that chaos. So that's the information. And then it's now provoking thoughts. Okay, now as someone that has seen that picture, how does it make you feel? Like, what did you think when you saw it, and how does it change your perspective of, you know, Nigeria and how you see things? And for me, if I can hit all three of those, then that is my best work. And I think that's what I strive for within my stories. And I think it's what makes, or I like to think that's what makes my work different, is that I'm trying as much as I can to have purpose and have a message behind some of the work and the projects that I do, as opposed to just releasing stuff that is visually appealing. Because we live in a world where everything is visual. We see flyers, we see adverts. You know, it's very easy to get caught up in, you know, visually appealing stimulus. But for me, it's like, okay, we have that tool, we have that ability to make things look nice and bring people to it. But then how do we intertwine a message and purpose? And I think that's that kind of striving to hit that is what really inspires me. Like I don't want people to just be like, it's a nice picture. I want people to be like, oh, it's a nice picture. Oh, I didn't know this. Oh, right, this is how I see life now. Or this, I didn't think of life that way. You know, like even history. Like I've been delving in a lot of history and trying to, you know, resurface some narratives that have been lost. Like, you know, okay, cool, come see the picture, nice, interesting piece of art. Oh, I didn't know that this was what happened in this place. Oh, wow. You know, when I look at myself and as a person, a Black person or African person, I can see this characteristic or this trait that he's highlighted in history within myself. So, you know, you've hit 3 different levels, and for me, that's what I want my work to stand for. Like, and I feel like that's my purpose. So, thank God, and hopefully we'll continue. Yeah, but that's what really inspires me for my best work.
I really respect your answer in that, because when you talked about your 3 elements, I usually would associate that with at least a book or a film, not a picture. And it shows that you're really thinking about everything to do with that picture. Like the fact that you're telling me that you want to convey a story with that picture is mind blowing, because I've already, from me even coming back to the kids running on the beach, my story was, oh, these guys are just having fun, or maybe somebody else could maybe think of it and say they're running away from a monster or something. That's so cool. That's pretty interesting.
A story and a poem, like, you know, it's there for you, interpret it in your own way, but at the end of the day, it's whether you leave from engaging with that piece of work with something for yourself. And I think that's the beauty of art, is the ability to translate, to transfer, to highlight, just to invoke something in somebody else to help them understand this world, really, because we're just all trying to navigate it, and art kind of helps us explain and understand things that are otherwise complicated too. And stories, like, yeah, don't get me started on stories. The way I see stories, from like even from proverbs to all kinds of things, are actually very inherent to who we are, especially as African descendants. Like the power and the role of storytelling is so integral to being able to understand who you are, understand the world you live in, and how to navigate that. And for me, it's like, okay, this is some deep and powerful stuff, and it's very, you know, it can be used for a lot of good, a lot of positivity. And I think that's where I start to maybe lean onto my faith and thinking, you know, on with in terms of with my work and what I'm doing to serve God in that stuff, is, you know, it's kind of like there's something that is very important, integral to storytelling, that just helps people go about life and grow. Even the Bible, everything, it's all stories, you know what I mean? So I think for me, because I respect photography and visual arts very much, that's why I kind of take it to that level of, okay, this is a medium for storytelling, and what are the reasons and what makes stories good in general and useful. that's where I try to go. So yeah.
That's pretty beautiful, man.
Yeah, sorry.
Not soft or anything, but that is, I love that, man. That's deep.
It,
That made me think, honestly.